Alright guys, today what we're going to be talking about is how to divide polynomials. Right now, I'm going to highlight our polynomial right here. This polynomial is formed of three separate monomials. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to take this polynomial, we're going to divide it by this monomial right here. So right here, I'm just going to label it. This is the polynomial right here. This is a monomial. It's pretty easy. Whenever you have a long polynomial and you're dividing it by just one number, this monomial, what you have to do is you need to divide the first monomial of the polynomial, the second, and the third by that specific monomial. So I'm dividing every single one of these individual monomials that make up the polynomial by this negative 6x squared y. Alright, so whenever you have a polynomial and you divide it by a monomial, you just divide every single one of the monomials by negative 6x squared y. So as we do this, what are we allowed to do with the coefficients? We're allowed to simply divide them. What is negative 30 divided by negative 6? 5. The quotient property says that what are we allowed to do with the exponents if we are we're allowed to subtract the exponents if we're dividing. So we have 3 minus 2, which leads us to a x to the first. Now I'm just going to leave, I'm not going to put a power of 1 because it's understood that is to the power of 1. What's going to happen to all of these y's? They just cancel out, so we don't, just cancel out to a 1, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's look at the second term. Second group right here. What are we going to divide? The 12 and the negative 6. What does that happen? What happens there? Negative 2. What's going to happen to all of the x's? They all cancel out. And we have a 2 here and a 1 there. What's 2 minus 1? Just 1. And you're done with that one. Pretty easy, huh? What's negative 18 divided by negative 6? Positive 3. What's going to happen to all of my x squareds? They all cancel out. My y's cancel out. So all we're left with is this. Can we combine a 5x, a negative 2y, and a 3? Can we combine those? Because they're not like terms. Is that your answer for number 1? Pretty easy? Good. I'm glad that you guys did the pattern. Pretty easy. Alright. Now, let's just scroll over here to number 2. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to highlight, once again, I'm going to highlight this long polynomial. By the way, if you happen to be eating or drinking, that would be the time to put it away because we are recording right now. Great. What are we going to divide every single one of these individual specific monomials by? That's right, take 2w squared z. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to divide all of them by 2w squared z and 2w squared z. All the way down. Take the time. Always take the time to write down the correct problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus right now, not on the whole problem. I'm going to focus in on this one individual one that we have to do. Because this is where sometimes students, they kind of go, wait a second. Because 2 does not go into a 3. So here's the cool thing. You just leave it. Just leave it as negative 3 over what? Over 2. Just leave that. Okay, so negative 3 over 2. My board's not working right. All right, now there we go. Negative 3 over 2. Now, what's going to happen to all of these w's? They're all going to cancel out. And then I have 5. My exponent's 5. Got to take away 1, so what am I left with? Z to the fourth, but that's up where? That's up in the top, so I got to leave it up there in the top. So this part, everybody, this right here simplifies to that. So if this number does not go into the top number, what? What do? Just leave it. If you can simplify it, simplify it. If you can't simplify it, leave it as that improper fraction. It's okay. The other one I'm going to do right now is I'm going to focus in on this one. This is a 5 over a 2. So since it's a 5 over 2, guess what I have to do? I just have to leave it. What's going to happen to all the z's? They cancel out. Where are the w's located? They're located, in the denominator, at the bottom. So that's where I have to leave them. For some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, students, here's what they do. They get the 5 over the 2, well, where do they put the w squared? I don't know why, they just do sometimes. So if it's in the bottom, keep it in the bottom. If it's up top, keep it up top. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. I'll let you guys finish this one. I'm not going to give you the whole answer to this one on the board. All right, we're going to focus in on this one right here because it's a little bit trickier. Because what is 4 divided by 2? That's a 2. But what's going to happen to this w? That's going to cancel out one of those. Where is the w and the z located? In the numerator or the denominator? Denominator. So we have to leave it. We got to leave the w and the z in the denominator. What number gets to be up here in the numerator? The 2. So right here, everybody, your final answer, everybody, is negative 3 w z cubed minus 3 over 2 z to the fourth plus 2 over wz plus 5 over 2 w squared. This right here is your final answer with all of the variables simplified. Do we have, by the way, do we have any negative exponents at all? No, there's no negative exponents. You can have negative numbers. You're not allowed to have negative exponents. Are there any parentheses involved? No, we've simplified everything that we can possibly simplify. The next thing I'd like you guys to do is I would like you guys to put problem number 3 in your journal. Okay? And I want you to title problem number 3 in your journal. We're going to practice something called long division. This is going to be the last thing we do on this video is we're going to do this problem, long division. All right, guys, we're going to go back to 5th grade or 4th grade where you guys first started long division. Okay, so here we go. Back where recess was there, love recess. Anybody ever get detention for playing tackle football at recess? I did. Oh, they let you play? All right, so right now, right here, what I want you to do, put 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus 9x minus 14. This is called your dividend. Okay? All right? Our divisor is x minus 2. What we're looking for is our quotient. Now, maybe it's been a while since you've done long division, so we're just going to do a quick little long division example. Ready? Here we go. You don't have to write this down. 421 divided by 8. How many times does 8 go into 4? None. But if 8 goes into a 42, how many times? 5 times is right. 8 times 5 is 40. And then we're going to subtract those, right? We've got to subtract them. So we subtract that, we get a 2. But what do we got to bring down? We got to bring down the 1. 8 goes into 21 how many times? 2. 2 times is right. Because 8 times 2 is 16. What do we have to do again? We have to subtract. We subtract this. Oh, got it wrong. All right, 11 minus 6 is a 5. Ooh, we got a remainder of what? We have a remainder of 5. Now we can keep going and get a decimal, but this would be a remainder of 5. So what's our final answer? 52, and we had 5 out of 8. So if we wanted to write this as a mixed numeral, it would be 52 and 5 out of 8. So it goes into it perfectly 52 times, but not quite another whole. This is what we're going to be doing on this problem, except now we're dealing with variables. So this is what I want you to do. You got to think of a number right here. We have to figure out what number right here times an x gets me to a 3 x cubed. That's what you're trying to figure out. Like what numbers? Right here, ready? I've got an x. I've got to multiply it by the number that I'm going to put in the box. And what do I want to make it equal to? A 3x cubed. So what number would have to go right there? A 3 and an x squared. That's right. So put 3x squared right there. So start right there. Now, what I want you to do is follow the hand. After you've done it, follow the hand. There's the hand waving at you. We're going to take the 3x squared, and we're going to multiply it to the x, and that's how we got this 3x cubed right here. But then, you're probably wondering, what do I have to do with the negative 2? Well, you got to take that negative 2 and multiply it to this guy as well. So what's 3x squared times a negative 2? Negative 6x squared. So right here, put negative 6x squared. Now, going back to elementary school days, what do we have to do with this whole enchilada right there? We got to not eat it. We got to take it away. Remember, watch. What do we do here? We did what? We took it away, right? So we're going to go back. We're going to take away not just the first monomial. We got to take away the second monomial. So here, the first one's easy. What's 3x cubed minus 3x cubed? 0. Follow carefully. Negative 7x squared minus a minus 6x squared. What's going to happen to this minus? That's going to become a plus right there. So what does this add up to? A negative x squared.
Why negative?
Because a negative 7x squared plus a 6x squared is a negative x squared. You try to say that fast 3 times.
What do you do with this?
You just leave it. That's how many x squareds we have. We have one negative x squared. Now, we got to bring down, remember? Bring down. We got to bring down the what? We got to bring down the 9x. Okay? Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put another empty box right here. And you got to figure out what number times x gets me a negative x squared. How do I get a negative x squared? What has to be in there? That's right, you guys got it. You guys are brilliant. Negative x right there. So I got a negative x times an x, which gives me a negative x squared. But then I got to take the negative x and also multiply it by the negative 2. And what's that? That's right, 2x. Don't forget to do this next step. Put some dadgum parentheses, and then you put the Now, see how we have a negative x squared minus a minus? What's going to happen? That's going to become a plus, and that zeros. Your brains might be great, but that's okay. That means they're thinking. 9x minus 2x. This is pretty easy. What's 9x minus 2x? 7x. That goes right there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bringing it down, that negative 14. Bringing down the negative 14. And this is the last thing you have to do. We have to figure out what number right here times an x can get me the 7x that I desire. That's right. Put plus 7 right there. Put plus 7. 7 times x is 7x. What's 7 times a negative 2? 14. Close. Negative 14. But what am I going to put this in? Parentheses and subtract it. Austin was just thinking one step ahead. And what happens to everything? It cancels out. So our final answer. Everybody, here's your final answer. Whoa. 3x squared minus x plus 7. And that is your final answer using long division. Now let me explain to you why this answer is true. If you took x minus 2, right? You took x minus 2, and you multiplied it to 3x squared minus x plus 7. You know what you would actually get if you took the time and energy to multiply those together? 3. You would get all of this right here. So this times this would get you back to what you started with. Okay? Would you guys agree that's kind of a long method? Would you guys like to learn a better way? No. Well, that's what we're going to do in the next video. Synthetic division.